Hello fish fools, Jeff here. So how about we check in on my 30-gallon planted Livebearer community tank. I just love the mix of community fish in here. So I think we'll sort of go around the tank and see how things are going and how it's evolving. So you can see up here we get some fry. Those are baby guppies. So this little spot right here is kind of like a water flow area. That's where the hang-on back filter pours out water. It's an Aqua Clear 50. And I just did a water change today, and pretty much every other time I do a water change I have to clean the filter. Mostly I have a intake sponge here, so I have to clean that. Otherwise, the flow gets weaker, and it gets noticeably weaker, and then now it's flowing nice and strong again, and that's creates this little tunnel right here between all these floating plants. So the floating plants are getting kind of out of control. Now it's all mostly water sprite. So this tank has evolved along the way. There was a time when it was a lot of Ricciafluitans, and it's still loaded with duckweed. Every time I do a water change I have to take some of that out. You can see that floating around on top, but where it's not, doesn't flow quite like that, it just fills in. And this water sprite, I gotta stop pulling some of that out. I mean, it's great for fry to hide in and the shrimp hang out in it, but it just covers all the top of the tank. And one problem I have is it's like I don't know where it begins and ends. I can, want to pull out a little bit of it. I mean, I guess I can clip it and everything, but unlike other plants, it just grows in all different directions. And it is a stem plant, and I want to try to just try to plant it in the substrate and have it grow up from that. But when I got this, I first put it in this tank, I just put a few pieces on top, and this is what it's become. And then the Anacharis is just growing all scattered all over at the top. I used to anchor that down and plant it in the substrate, but it would often come up, and I started just leaving it. And also, the bottom parts of the stems would kind of die off some, so I just kind of let it happen, and it seems to actually grow better like this. And the fish are doing great. So it was about over 2 months ago, maybe 2.5 months ago, over the span of about a week, I had about a dozen platies died. I don't know, never did know the reason why, and it turned out to be mostly males, because after that I had only one male left. So one of these marigold varietas platies is a male in there somewhere, and then there's another male. So that's that one is growing up from not quite a full-size adult, but getting there. Got a red wag platy, probably mixed with the marigold varietas platy. It's a Pandagara on the glass. And I have 4 neon tetras left. About over 2 years ago, I had as many as, I think, 13 in here, something like that. It's a Julie Corridor. Looking awesome. He's the only one in here. I had as many as 7 at one time. Then some of them started dying in there. The barbells were worn, so I never got more to add to it. But then now his barbells, his or hers, barbells are looking just fine, because I was concerned that this is a mixture of Eco-Complete substrate, which is kind of jagged, and like this one, it seems to have, I think it grew back. And there's a female dwarf gourami there. It's a last gourami in this tank. I did have a male neon dwarf gourami that died about 3 months ago, and then I did have 2 females, that one and another. The other one did die in the past week or so. That one was kind of like bent, and so maybe that affected it. Autosynclus and a couple Siamese algae eaters. There was a time when I had some blackbeard algae issues, and that's what made me decide to get these to put them in here, and no more blackbeard algae. And got lots of shrimp in here, Neocaridina shrimp. Here, there's one. The red one's like, this one has like a, I guess those must be wild colorations with a stripe on the back, but I think it looks awesome like that. Back here. Over here. Here. So there was a while when there's a roseline shark right there. That thing's getting big. It's probably about 5 inches now. It might have been half that size when I got it over 2 years ago. So this piece of Mopani wood right here, for the longest time, I was not able to see it because there was a time when the Java moss was like the dominating plant in here. It was just filling up everything. And it was just so thick, and I pulled a lot of it out. But now since this water sprite is growing so much at the top, the Java moss isn't growing as much. And like this back corner, that was all full. Now there's like open swimming area, and there's right up here, you can see through there, that's the last of what's left of an Amazon sword. But I think I'd have to clear off the top to get it so I can get some light, if I can get that growing again. And this Java fern's doing good. So this is like the regular, and that's the window lib right here. I have some more over here. This you can kind of see is not doing as well, but when it gets like this, every once in a while, if there's like a leaf like that, I don't pull it out until all the green is gone. So if there's still a little bit of green left, because what I think it does, like for the rest of the plant, it'll use up the nutrients that are in it if there's a dying leaf. So let it do that until all the green is gone, and before yanking it out. Or if I even do that, I mean, with shrimp in here, any dying leaves, they can graze off it anyway. And the bacopa is doing good. And here's my Anubias. It looks like those must be like a nutrient deficiency. I think that's part of with the not getting as much light in front there, combined with other, other plants. So I think this water sprite hogging all the nutrients, and I haven't been adding as much fertilizer after doing a water change today. It's usually when I'll add some. I'll do that before I turn the lights out. And the Cripplutea, that stuff is spread a lot. But yeah,